Yes, Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me let the bell stop before I begin. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I can proceed. General Gonzales, you've said several times that the U.S. Senator Domenici lost confidence in the U.S. Attorney.
That was my impression, yes.
Is it your practice to sample the opinion of U.S. senators regarding their confidence in U.S. attorneys?
No, what's really important...
No, my question is it your practice to sample...
Can I give you the answer?
Well, is it your practice to sample the opinion of U.S. senators?
What was important here is that there was a consensus recommendation by the senior leadership in the Department of Justice who knew the performance of U.S. attorneys and made the recommendation to me.
General, I have a limited amount of time. Is it your practice, yes or no, to sample the opinion of all 100 U.S. senators regarding the performance of United States attorneys?
Of course not. But in this particular case, what's important
is there any Democratic senators? We only have a limited time, General.
Is that the senior leadership in the department gave me their base recommendation.
I'm not asking about Mr. Iglesias, General Gonzales. I'm asking you in general. Are there any Democratic senators who have expressed concern about U.S. attorneys, and there have been terminations based on the concern of Democratic senators? Yes or no?
Not that I can recall.
Is there any significant justification, Mr. Gonzales, for a significant disparity in the number of Democrats prosecuted versus the number of Republicans prosecuted with respect to local elected officials? Would there be any reason for that disparity?
I wouldn't know if such a disparity existed. It's not something that we look at.
Would it
not something we keep track of.
Would it concern you if there were a disparity between the number of elected Democratic officials prosecuted and the number of elected Republican officials prosecuted?
Well,
would it concern you if it existed? Yes or no?
It depends on the reasons for it.
Well, I will ask to put it in the record, Mr. Chairman, a survey done by the University of Minnesota which surveys prosecutions of local elected officials between 2001 and 2006 and surveys with respect to the partisan affiliation. 85% of the local officials prosecuted were Democrats, 12% were Republicans. Do you have any reason
to dispute that?
Yield? No, I will not yield. Would General Gonzales, do you dispute that characterization?
This report, I don't know the basis of this report. We don't keep that kind of numbers, and quite frankly, for us to do so, that would be more alarming.
Well, General Gonzales, let me ask you the question. Would it concern you if you did your own research and you discovered that there was a significant disparity?
We're not going to do that kind of research.
Would it concern you if it existed? If it were reported and it existed, would it concern you?
Listen, it would concern me if we're not making cases based on the evidence.
General Gonzales, I would represent to you that, and you can certainly check the data yourself, 50% of the local elected officials in this country are Democrats. 41% are Republicans. Again, I ask you the question. Do you have any reason to assert that 7 times more Democrats are guilty of federal crimes than Republicans?
I have no way of knowing the legitimacy of this report you're citing to. I don't know the basis of these numbers.
Let me, if I can, go back to the Wisconsin case to possibly test this theory. These were the facts in the Wisconsin case. A woman who was a career appointee, who'd been appointed by a Republican governor, was working for the state tourism department. She was indicted because a contract was awarded to a political contributor to the Democratic governor. There was no testimony at trial that she knew of the contribution. There was no testimony at trial that she was asked to award the contract to this particular company. And there was testimony at trial that the company was the lowest bidder. Are you aware that in that particular case involving Georgia Thompson, the 7th Circuit vacated the conviction from the bench?
Yes.
Do you know of any other case while you have been Attorney General where an appeals court vacated a conviction from the bench?
Highly unusual.
Does that concern you, sir?
Well, again,
let me turn to the Alabama case.
Making charging decisions with Democratic office holders.
I have the time, sir. The Alabama case. The former governor of Alabama who
I be allowed to answer questions?
Was indicted.
Yes, the Attorney General has the privilege to respond to the question.
Let me pose the Alabama context.
Well,
you can respond to
wait
both.
a minute, Mr. Davis. Let's let him respond to the other question that you asked briefly, sir.
The government prevailed at the lower court. We prevailed at the lower court.
I take that answer. With respect to the governor of Alabama, the initial case against the former Democratic governor of Alabama dismissed by the first district judge before the case went to trial on grounds of insufficient facts. If I can finish, that's the question, Mr. Chairman. The second time, General Gonzales, permission to finish the question, sir.
Please, very briefly.
34-count indictment, 32 counts dismissed, evidence of juror misconduct based on emails that were obtained. The U.S. Attorney's Office, who prosecuted the case, declined to investigate the juror misconduct and indeed sought to exclude the emails from even being heard in evidentiary hearing. This is the question. Would you expect the U.S. Attorney's Office that had evidence of jury misconduct to investigate the misconduct, or to try to exclude it from being heard at evidentiary hearing? Which is the better practice, Mr. Gonzales?
As a gentleman of the former, but I'm not going to comment on this particular case without looking at the facts.
The chair wishes to recognize